Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Rest is Lean. And today we've got one of our occasional specials. We'd come up with a cleverer title, but you've seen this podcast before. And today I am delighted to have my friend Glyn Holman. And Glyn's done everything from working for tiny businesses, I think, even maybe owning the odd business, up to leading lean and leadership type roles within Britain's second largest employer, I think.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Glyn, do you want to give everybody a kind of tiny potted history?
Hello.
Hello.
First of all, so predominantly my background is manufacturing.
Yeah.
Since a youngling, back in the day when it was all black and white. Um, Engineering,
Yeah.
always been in engineering. As an apprentice and working in machine shops. That's where I started in
Mm.
machine shops, programming, setting machines.
Yeah.
Various industries, aerospace, medical, a little bit of technology.
Hmm.
Um, so essentially, that's kind of my initial pathway, and I kind of worked my way up into supervisory roles and leadership roles,
Hmm.
managing shifts of machine shops and shifts of assembly shops. At one point, yes, I did have my own little business. I had my own little contract business where I was doing my own manufacturing in a shed,
Yeah.
which was interesting, very educational. Um, but over the last kind of 15 years or so, I moved into aerospace more predominantly,
Hmm.
into quality. That was kind of my entry into lean. So I used to be a quality engineer for an aerospace company, which introduced me to problem solving and Six Sigma. And from there, it kind of evolved into a lean environment where we were looking at trying to improve ways of working,
Hmm.
efficiency, learning all about those lean tools. And I was in aerospace in my last company for about 15 years, and I was traveling the world
Yeah.
doing lean and standardization. And then I decided, let's try something a bit different. Let's see if I can test myself in a different environment. So I
Hmm.
decided to come to the Royal Mail, which was a complete left field
Yeah.
role.
Yeah.
And that's where I've been over the last, what's it now? I'm in my fifth year
Mm.
in Royal Mail. I'm the head of the processing portfolio, which in essence means that I kind of oversee and support the projects that come into the processing environment of Royal Mail. And as part of the transformation, then my team would deploy those changes into processing within the Royal Mail.
Mm.
So lots of problem solving, lots of CI, lots of lean, standardization, building packages of work, and generally using a lot of different tools on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my background coming through quality, ironically, at the time I wasn't sure about going into quality, but I
Yeah.
think looking back, it's a good pathway into lean.
Yeah. I think quite a few of the senior managers that I've worked with over the years, if they've got a lean bias, they tend to also have had a quality background. I think that's where
Yeah,
in a lot of manufacturing companies they start to sprinkle lean. I think, oh, quality are getting things wrong, or give them some lean stuff. Maybe they can sort it out.
yeah,
But
yeah,
also the quality are sometimes seen as the policeman of the company, which I don't think is quite right.
yeah.
Um,
People used to think that quality, if you went into quality, it was the end of your career because either you were over 55 or you had no personality. So those are the people that tended to go into quality.
so
So it
they
was a bit of
chucked
a
you out
surprise.
because you kept
So,
smiling.
so I didn't last.
He's a faker. That bloke told a joke. Get him out.
Stop smiling.
Fantastic. Just for wider viewership, and certainly anybody's outside the UK, can you just
Yeah.
give an impression for people of how big Royal Mail is? Because even if we're in the UK, I don't think many people recognise what a big business that is, what a company it is.
Oh God, this is just like one of my interview questions. So there's about 1,500 delivery offices in the UK. There's 37 processing plants.
Wow.
There's about six transport hubs, and there's two super hubs. The biggest super hub is in the Midlands, and that is to the size of about seven football pitches
Wow.
or the equivalent. It takes about 17 minutes, I think, to walk from one end to the other. It's
Yeah.
quite a long way.
Yeah.
Employees, good question. Um, I don't know the exact number. I know how many that are in my environment.
Mhm.
So in transformation, where I work, is around 425 just
Wow.
in my little function. I think there's about 5,000 non-ops, they call them, the people that are not actually out there delivering.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of people. I can't remember the exact number, but it runs into the thousands. I think
Yeah.
it's the second biggest employer behind the NHS
Yeah.
in the UK. So obviously it goes to every letterbox in the country. So
Yeah.
it's a big beast. It's
Absolutely.
a very big beast to
Absolutely.
get used to.
I know when we've been discussing lean in the past for various reasons, we've always said, well, you don't really need to know the process
Yeah,
in order to apply lean tools. You just have to trust the tools. It's
yeah,
scary
yeah,
when you've got no idea what's going on. You know, I walk
yeah,
into an apple grading plant and they say, "How are we going to do lean?" And my first thing
yeah,
is, I don't know what an apple is. um,
yeah,
but to go into a place like Royal Mail, not only have you got sort of a big hairy process that most people only see the guy in the shorts delivering the letter.
yeah,
It's a massive logistics organization,
yeah.
but also you can't possibly, I mean, you've been there 5 years, Glenn, you're very senior within the organization. You can't possibly have been to all of the sites and you've
No,
definitely not met all the people.
no,
How
no.
much of an issue is it for you and for your team, 425 odd strong, to apply these improvements to process, deploy all these processes in an outfit where you can't go and chat with everybody, you can't go and
Mm,
have a look everywhere.
yeah. It it's not as complicated as you might think,
All right.
in all honesty, because you're right. One of the questions I asked myself moving into Royal Mail was, are the tools transferable to a completely
Mm,
different industry? And essentially, yes, the tools are the tools. So when it comes to looking for opportunity or taking an opportunity and trying to roll that out into an organization such as ours, the same methodology applies.
mm,
Look at the data, you understand where the constraints are, and you build a piece of work, whatever that might be, and you target the most underperforming or where the opportunity is
mm,
in that one unit, and you
mm.
do all your work in that one unit, and then you just expand.
Yeah.
Um, and the way you expand is you use that pilot as the base for what good looks like,
Hmm.
and you build a package of work, and then you bring members of uh, the team in, whatever their background or whatever their skills are, because
Hmm.
some will have a delivery background, some will have a processing background, and you create a piece of work which they can then deliver. And it's about the delivery of the process or the product or the change that you're trying to put in,
Mm.
which is the key. So Yeah, we tend to do a pilot, and then we might choose two or three different size units depending on their complexities.
Yeah.
So one in the north of Scotland would be a lot more smaller and have a different profile than one in the centre of London. So
Yeah.
you might go to the opposite ends of the scale of the
Mm,
profile
mm,
to see if what you're trying to achieve lands.
mm.
Understanding the processes in detail, I think you need to get under the skin of what you're looking at by going into your pilot site and understanding from the shop floor how it operates. So you need that because you need to test the data really to see if it's genuine data
Yeah.
or it's just noise.
Mm,
But I think once you understand that, then it's relatively straightforward.
yeah.
You'll never understand the complexities of a business this big.
Mm,
And over time, you start to learn the terminology and you start to understand it a bit more when you find yourself identifying issues that maybe other people don't see just because of the way you're wired, I suppose.
yeah. Yeah.
A bit weird like that.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? The scale's completely different, but way on back, we've done work together, and we might pick an area within a manufacturing
Yeah,
factory that
yeah.
we would use as our focal area, test area. Um,
The show
Lighthouse was a
house,
phrase that used to come up way
lighthouse,
on
yeah,
back.
yeah,
And you do what that area needs. But
yeah,
then you've got the option of taking the fix that you put in place and applying it with minor tweaks and adjustments across similar areas of the business later.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
it's very much that same model, but way wound up to 11, even in something as hairy as a huge logistics organization.
One of the things I have found very useful is the, well, call it an information board, SQCDP, all
Yep.
these different acronyms. One thing that is very transferable is that process,
Yep.
that operating system. And one of the things that is really powerful is the operating system that we have in Royal Mail, which was something that I was part of a team that took that aerospace philosophy of working,
Yeah.
put that into processing. So everybody was working to the same guidelines and the same set of rules. So when
Hmm.
you are looking at a problem, you're looking at the same thing, just
Yeah.
the same makeup, the same way it's presented, the same data, the same process. That's really useful. Otherwise, people tend to go down rabbit holes and
Yeah.
start looking at things that aren't really happening. So having that focal point,
Mm.
those boards is absolutely key. Without it, I
You're
don't I
kind of
don't
giving
think.
them a common language to speak to each other, and aren't you?
Yeah,
You'll be able to walk
yeah,
to any area, any type of function, and talk about how's the quality going and what's your biggest issues.
yeah,
If they've got a SQCDP board, insert appropriate phrase for yourselves, then the two areas you've chatted to may have completely different concepts of what is quality,
yeah,
but they'll be able to articulate
yeah,
things that have not gone well and the priorities within it
yeah,
just by going Q, talk Q to me.
yeah. No, it's amazing. It's an
Mm,
amazing tool. And now with the advent of um, the environments being added to boards as well now, where people are
yeah,
looking at gas, electric, car sharing, recycling, all kinds of things where there's opportunities which people never really looked at before.
yeah,
It's a really it's a new tool, if you like, within that process, which is now really taking off, and there's massive benefits in there as well. So it's not just your everyday things; it's those hidden things that people just
yeah.
take for granted as well.
Myself, Alan, and Russell asked ourselves a question. which we thought would take 2 minutes to answer in one of our previous episodes. If you were given a lean newbie, we
Yeah.
discussed, what tool would you give them first to really spark their brains and make them
Mm.
excited about it? Um, have you got a view on where you'd go with that, or maybe it's something over your career that you've done? You've actually chucked stuff at people.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Um, I think first of all, when if I can talk about if you were selecting a newbie,
Yeah,
if you had the opportunity to bring somebody in, personality and engagement is something that's really quite important for these types of roles. You
yeah,
need to be somebody that people can relate to
yeah,
and have a bit of a spark about them.
yeah.
If you're bringing in somebody fresh, like an apprentice, for example, and you go, right, okay, where do I start?
Mm,
I think the first thing you do is you kind of I've sat down with them and I've talked about the different lean tools and tried to strip it back to the basic ones that are useful to you, like flow,
hmm.
process flow, and talking about capturing information and what do you do with that information, and go look sees.
Oh,
So I would tend to give them a little bit of background on flow would be
mm,
my choice. I say this is how flow works. This is a very basic process map of what we do.
yeah,
And then I would send them out to go look, see, and observe and just
hmm,
say, come back and tell me what you see.
mm,
Don't think about what they are doing, think about what they're not doing,
mm,
or where you can see waste, things that are, I suppose the best way to describe it would be where you see things that are not happening or things that are happening which shouldn't be happening or are taking too long, just watch that and watch them.
mm,
So I think understanding a little bit about flow for me is a good introduction because it's observations. And I think you can learn a lot from that. And you can come back to the room and you can talk about what you've seen.
yeah,
And then you can start getting into, well, there's a tool for that, there's a tool for this, there's a tool for that. And you can kind of build them up from there. So a good
yeah.
go look see and a bit of very, very simple process map, I think. And
Cool.
that's probably changed actually. I probably wouldn't have said that 5 years ago.
Oh,
I'd have
interesting.
probably said, yeah, I'd have probably said, oh, the first thing you've got to understand is 5S.
Right.
You've got to understand um, the environment that people are working in.
It is.
And
It is kind of a given that any book you read is always going to say the foundation of continuous improvement, the foundation of lean is
yeah,
5S. And I think there's a certain fuzzy logic to that, but I
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't believe it's always the best place to start. It might be easy to understand, but I don't think it's always the best place to start.
I think that if you need to get people to think slightly differently. So if you're taking them out of their bubble and saying put your observation eyes on
Yeah.
and just see what's happening in front of you. And I think when it comes to the first piece of work, 5S is good. If you were doing a particular area, then you would possibly give them 5S activity as the first task to do in an area. But if you're talking about a big processing plan, then you just want to go and observe it from end to end. Just walk through the process,
Yeah.
ask people what they do, make some notes, and then come back and talk to me. And I think 9 times out of 10, they'll come back saying, "Oh, I've seen this," and "Oh, I've noticed that," and that was
Yeah.
on the floor, and things like that. And I think it's a good introduction for somebody because
Yeah.
people can get excited by what they're seeing.
Mm,
Being in a room doing slides about 5S and what 5S is
mm.
doesn't really open up people's eyes, I don't think.
No. no. And you and I have done many an activity or event together, and I think we can agree we've spent a lot of time leaning on barriers in factories, staring,
Yeah,
and
being busy.
yeah, and yeah, the number of people who rock up and say, "You two got nothing better to do," and no, this is the good stuff.
Okay.
It is, it is the way to understand processes is go look see, go Gemba, whatever you want to put it, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that can
yeah,
spark the need for a particular tool. So yeah, maybe go look see is the core tool for so many arguments, for so many different things. I, when asked the question, went for the seven wastes,
okay,
um, with a view to if you understand the seven wastes, you've given yourself the eyes so that when you go look see and you see
yeah,
a mountain of work that somebody's done, instead
yeah,
of going, "Ooh, they're good," you start to go inventory. Do
yeah.
they actually need? They're working too hard. I've spotted other ways. Um, but
It's
again, you could
interesting, though.
equally spin that back to the first tool you're giving them, John, is go look see.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I think it's also the environment. It depends what environment you're working in.
Mm,
You talk about seeing piles of work.
yeah.
You wouldn't see this in my current industry, but you certainly would see it in my previous industry.
Hmm.
So different industries show different problems in different ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the seven ways, you're right. Seven ways is kind of one of the strongest tools to kind of educate on.
Mm,
But like you say, in order to understand them, maybe the first thing, which is what I would do, would do a go look see, and the process map thing is say, right, okay, so when something comes in the door, this is what happens to it,
yeah.
and that's where it goes. Now go and have a look
Hmm.
at each of those steps and come back to me and tell me what you think.
Mm. And other stuff we've been discussing with great effect between myself, Russell, and Alan, both on screen and over points, is um, are you aware of your leadership style changing over the years?
I think what I've learned is you have to be more patient.
Hmm.
Uh, Going slow to go fast is definitely something I've learned. I think when you first come into it, you want to change the world.
Yeah.
You think change the world, and you have to learn to be patient.
Mm.
Learn to be very patient.
That's got to be
Uh,
some of that's part of oh, what do you call it? Imposter syndrome, isn't it? You are in
yeah,
charge. I've got to make things happen fast.
well, yeah,
Where
yeah,
actually, more confident you goes, I need to know what I'm doing before I do it.
yeah, yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, absolutely. And I think over the years, I've learned to be more patient,
Hmm.
uh, drawing on things in the past and how they worked and how they didn't work, and asking better questions. I think you as
Good.
you go through your journey, you start to ask better questions.
Mm.
I also think in terms of my leadership style, I wasn't naturally a leader, I don't think. I was very much a doer and a people pleaser in some respects.
Mm.
And I think as you start to evolve and you start to take on more responsibility and you're working with more people and bigger numbers, you have to have a level of assertiveness, but you have a level of patience. So you find yourself being a nurturing manager. I found
Hmm.
myself being a nurturing manager. Can't
Hmm.
be overly assertive. You cannot be somebody who is a bit of a firefighter,
Yeah.
someone that heads towards the fire.
Yeah.
You have to be very strategically a thinker. And I think from being somebody that just wants to go and fix something and do something and say, look, I've done something, I think you
Yes.
become very more holistic in your view and you
Yeah.
think about the big picture.
Yeah.
you nurture your staff and you support them and you try and grow them, but at the same time you find yourself having to be quite assertive in some arenas because otherwise stuff doesn't just get done. So
Mm,
yeah, it's interesting from being quite, I would say, quite shy
mm.
to having to kind of develop this professional, um, professional's a loose word, professional um,
You're pulling it off, Glyn. You're pulling it off.
personality, this professional personality.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do that. You meet a lot of people who are not like they are that they are at home.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's interesting, but it certainly helps you grow as a person.
Yeah.
If you've got a small team, you've all got to be very similar
Mm,
because there's always a lot of scrutiny on CI, isn't there? What's the benefit of this team?
mm,
What do they do? So you need to be quite close and very aligned to
mm,
deliver small incremental improvements.
mm.
When you get to the bigger picture, you've got all these different functions with all these different priorities, and having those different types of personalities within your group to help deal with those.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, experience in different areas of a business is crucial. But also like to bring people in who have no idea of your industry because you always want that freshness.
Yes. Yeah.
You always want, so it's nice to have a 50-50 blend would be perfect, but it's nice to have a blend of experienced people who know the business, who have got those relationships,
Hmm.
who can really look and target things. But it's good to have fresh people and you go, why do we do that? And you go, oh, I don't know. We've always done it. So it's really good to kind of mix it up as well if you
Yeah.
get a bigger
Yeah. Do you have a favorite tool within the sort of lean toolbox or the leadership toolbox for that matter? Something that you actively enjoy using more than all the others and go, oh, good, I've got to talk about that or I've
team.
got to go do that.
The one that's on my Christmas cards.
Yeah.
Um, I do like a fishbone.
Ooh.
I do like a fishbone. I must admit.
I think that harks
It,
back to your quality years.
yeah, yeah, I do like a fishbone. I must admit, it can calm a situation down
Yeah.
when you've got a lot of people in the room and there's a lot of opinions. It also gives all those different personalities a voice.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
don't have to necessarily control the room. You just point at it and say, what's happening in the material world? Give me
Yeah.
some information about materials. And I find it's a really good tool to use in a large environment.
Mm.
Um, and it just breaks down a lot of barriers. There's
Mm.
no, there's no real there's no real prep for a fishbone. You just start drawing it on the wall and you
Yeah.
just go, what's that? So yeah, because if you get into five whys, they can go down a rabbit hole.
Yes.
They
Sometimes
can
you've got to reverse out the five whys and say, oh,
reverse in.
I phrased the question wrong
Yeah,
because we're over in a cul-de-sac now.
yeah. You get into cul-de-sacs, you get into multiple strands of five
Yeah,
whys,
yeah.
and it's a little bit opinionated.
Yes.
Somebody might not have the same view as somebody else in the
Mm,
room, so that can I find quite difficult to
mm.
to really get a room full of people to do a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like a fishbone. I'll be honest with you.
Well, that's a really good answer. It's really specific. Many people would have just said problem solving, but not Glyn. It's got fishbone with
Oh
the
no, no, that's the
problem
that's the
solving.
tool of choice. That is the tool of choice.
And I'm going to
Without
take away that phrase, actually, I thought was very thought-provoking, is you do a fishbone, you haven't got to control the room. That's actually really good because I never thought about it like that before. All you want is opinions. You
yeah,
don't care if they're right or they're wrong. You
No,
just want lots of them
you just
because
want
they'll
information.
trigger other people who may have the right one in there. So, yeah, I'm not saying it's a free for all, but there is a
I mean,
degree to which it's
I've
quite
tried.
relaxing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's two. There's just finishing off that. There's two ways I've tried it. There's the one where you get a room full of people and you get them to stand up and you get them to write on it.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one where you get everyone to write everything on post-it notes and
Hmm.
then put it up on the fishbone.
Yeah.
And that's very dependent on your audience because you'll probably learn what type of audience or you know kind of what type of environment you're going into.
Mm.
And there will be people who don't want to speak up,
Yeah.
very intelligent, quite shy. If you give them a post-it note and you get them to write it down and then you just stick it up,
Yeah.
and then you have a conversation about each one of those post-it
Mm.
notes, and a lot of them end up being the same thing.
Yeah.
That's a really good way of doing it for an environment which maybe they don't know each other.
Mm. Mm.
That's quite good. If you've got a small department, everybody knows everybody, you can draw it on the wall and you can get them to do it amongst themselves and just stand back and see how they get on and then
Yeah.
kind of guide them. So, yeah, there's two ways of doing it. Both of them are really powerful. Absolutely.
Okie doke. Well, we'll have to deal with the fact that Alan supports Liverpool later. You can do the fishbone on that. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's definitely something. Psychology, there's some problem there, but we can deal with that.
So I know another good question that provokes a discussion is, have you made any mistakes in terms of leadership that either stuck with you or you've learned from that haunt you that you want
Haunts me.
you could share with us?
Haunts me. Every time I stand at an SQCD keyboard, it starts shaking. There was the time some years ago, I was presenting to the directors of the company
Yeah.
who had come down to visit us, and they were actually really impressed with the work that we were doing.
Mm.
And I was presenting one of the SQCDP boards, and the data was there, and I was asked a question, and it was something around. So, are you saying that the problem is costing around X, Y, and Z based on that percentage? And I just went, yeah, yeah, that's right.
That'll do.
That'll answer the question because I need to answer the question.
Yeah.
So I answered the question and just went, yeah, yeah, it would save about 2 million quid. And he went, oh, that's interesting. And I looked to my left, and the managing director of the site, who is a very Scottish man, he just glared at me, and I thought, shit. And as soon as they left the building, he marched up to the office and said, don't you ever guess if you don't know the answer to a question just to appease your audience. And that really stuck with me. And I swear to God, every situation I get in, every meeting I get into, when somebody says, "So what's going on with that?" I go, "Oh, Chris, what would Chris, don't say it, don't say it. I'll get back to you on that one."
Yeah.
And I've used it. I've used it. I've been at the other end of the coin
Yeah.
where one of my team has done it, and I've pulled them up and said, "Don't you ever do that again."
But could
Um,
you do a Scottish accent?
not like he could. I mean, I didn't understand much of what he said, but I think I got the gist of it between the language. But yeah, yeah, it's stuck with me, that one. It
Yeah.
really is quite honestly. I wouldn't say it's probably one of the best things I've ever learned at that time.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just don't say something for the sake of it. If you don't know, you don't know. Don't pretend you
Yeah.
do. And I think I took that into this role,
Yeah.
thinking you'll never know everything, so don't pretend you do.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a good and powerful lesson. And I take it you and the MD at the time had to scratch around for a while to find 2 million quid as you'd promised.
no, I don't think we had to do that. I think we were fortunate. I don't think they came back.
They were accidentally right, or nobody
I think they were
checked.
just, I think they were just impressed with the fact that I knew all the financial details about something I had no idea
You appeared to know.
about.
Well, Glyn, thank you very much for this conversation. I've loved it. Well, hopefully, guys, you've enjoyed this little special. And if you're interested in getting involved, then please put some comments below the video. The rest is lean at gmail.com. We'll get an email to us and we'll do our best to answer you, or we'll make a video about it. It's good fun. So, from myself and from Glyn, see you again soon.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye bye.